For question 6, it's about trigonometry. It is worded a bit weirdly, but we'll go through it. The angle of elevation, it says off the top of the building, should be from the top of a building at a distance of 50 meters from its foot on a horizontal plane, that's really important, is found to be 60 degrees. The question is saying, find the height of this building. So let's create a diagram. Let's say this is our building. We want to know how high this building is. And we know from its angle of elevation. Elevation is always looking up. And so we want to know, we'll draw a little triangle there. So elevation is usually looking upwards. The opposite of that is angle of depression. If you're saying angle of depression, we would be looking downwards like that. But this question talks about elevation. We know that it's 50 meters from its foot. So the foot of the building is right here. That's the foot there. On a horizontal plane, and you know horizontal is that. So don't get confused here. Make sure you read the question a couple of times. That's your 50 meters. That's our 60 degrees. Question says, what is x, or the height of the building? Okay, from there we can start by labeling our sides. We know that this is going to be a right angle, and so our hypotenuse is there. Opposite this angle of 60 degrees is our opposite side. So we're going to put O there. And lastly, adjacent. Okay, once we've established that, you can write down what you have and what you're looking for. So we know that we have the angle theta is 60 degrees. We know we have the adjacent, that's 50 meters. And we know what we are looking for is the height of the building, which is the opposite side. And we just call that x. Always in trig, you will have two things that you know and one that you're looking for. Okay, so after we've done that, we can write down our rules. So these are our trigonometric ratios, and this one goes, this SOHCAHTOA, the SOH means sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse, cos theta, and these are in your formula sheet at the very top, is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan of theta is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so we need to figure out which one of these three we will use. If you notice, we don't need the hypotenuse. There's nothing in the question that's given it to us, nor are we looking for it. So anything with hypotenuse, like sin, we will disregard that one. Cos, we don't need that one. But tan has what we need, opposite and adjacent. So tan is the correct one to use. And so we've already got tan theta, I've written it over here, is opposite over adjacent. And so I will just fill in what the missing values I've got there. So tan of 60 degrees is opposite, which is x, divided by 50. Now, if the variables is at the top, we always have to multiply. It's the same as saying we multiply 50 on both sides to get rid of this 50 here. And so x will be equal to 50 times tan 60. Alright, and that gives us 86.6 meters. So that means the height of the building is 86.6 meters. So we're going to move on and do question 7 as well, because that's to do with trigonometry. This one simply says calculate the height k. So you need to know first that this is 90 degrees in total. So if we do 61, so 90 take 61, we can find out that this part here would be 90 take 61 which is 29 degrees. That's the first step. Okay, once you've done that, we will label our sides. Opposite the angle is the opposite side. We've got the hypotenuse on the longest side, and lastly adjacent. So I'll write down what I have and what I'm looking for. So I've got my angle of theta, which is 29 degrees. I have got hypotenuse, which is 14 meters, and the question is asking me for k, which is our adjacent side. I'll call that k. Once we've established that, I will write SOHCAHTOA and figure out which one of these ratios I've got to use. Okay, I have nothing to do with the opposite side. It's not asking me for it, nor am I looking for it. I've not been given a value for it, nor am I looking for it. So anything that has O, or the opposite side, I can't use. And that leaves me with cos, and I've got cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So I will write down, now I'll just substitute my values. I've got cos 29 is equal to adjacent, which is k, divided by hypotenuse, which is 14. Now when the variable is at the top, meaning k is at the top, we will swap cos and 14. That's a quick way of thinking about it. We will swap those two, and so we will have k being equal, sorry, the variables at the top. Again, similarly, we'll just multiply the variables at the top like it was previously, and so we'll multiply. If the variable's at the bottom, that's when you divide, and we might come across a question like that later on. So k will be equal to, if I multiply 14 on both sides, k will be equal to 14 times cos 29, and then k is equal to 12.24. I forgot to write my units. That's in meters. And that's it for question 6 and 7.